Oh god, why did I do this to myself? Hello there fellow gamers, this is Chills Wills and welcome to a video where I review every Russian gun in Phantom Forces. That's right, every single one. Needless to say, I tortured myself using all the guns that I'm not used to. There is no format to this video, so go ahead and suggest one down in the comments below. However, I will talk about guns in ranking order, not in category, but from when you get it. I think I've been kept you waiting for a while, so without further ado, let's get straight into it. Before I start, there's a disclaimer. All of these guns have a reason to be built, however, not all of them are accurate. If you really want to know why these guns are really built, then go ahead and do the research yourself. Without further ado, let's get into it. The AK-12 is a rank 0 assault rifle that you get at the start of the game. In real life, the AK-12 is chambered in 545 by 39. It is one of the latest official members of the Kalashnikov family, next to the AK-15 and AK-12 chambered in 760 by 39. All AKs stand for Automat Kalashnikova, which means Kalashnikov's automatic device. Although most people say Kalashnikovs. I'll be honest, I'll get my information off of gun websites, so take whatever I say with a grain of salt. In game, the AK-12 is sometimes considered to be one of the best assault rifles in the game. I'll get to why later. The AK-12 has a base damage value of 33, which drops down to 20. Okay, at this point, everything I say here is basically a repeat of what I have said in my AK-12 video. Reload is average. It has a tactical reload of 2.8 seconds and an empty reload of 3.8. Walk speed is a bit higher than the average at 14.5 studs per second. Sometimes it's that bit of speed that will help you survive. It has a rate of fire of 700 rounds per minute in auto and 1000 rounds per minute in burst, and that is why the AK-12 is considered to be the best assault rifles now. Stylists didn't fix the hyperburst of the AK-12 yet, while the M16A4 and the M4 have been hit with a nerf. With a good trigger finger and auto clicker, the AK-12 effectively could have an automatic rate of fire at 1000 rounds per minute, which is absolutely nothing to scoff at. This thing can even outclass the tryhard 416. There are a few drawbacks to this gun, however. It only does 33 damage at max on the torso, so you won't get any 3-shot kills unless one of your shots hits the head, but that is quickly made up for in its rate of fire. Another downside to this gun is its automatic feature, given its 700 rounds per minute. Expect some less than average time to kill with this thing. Verdict: use it. I know it sounds like a broken record at this point, but it is the 1000 rounds per minute burst that is basically broken, and Stylus hasn't nerfed it yet, so abuse it while you still can. The MP412 is a break-action revolver that is chambered in 357 Magnum. In real life, it has the option to either be double or single action. Single action means you have to manually pull back the hammer, whereas double action lets you pull the trigger by itself. Rex stands for Russian Export. In-game, the Rex is a revolver that you get at rank 4 and has a base damage of 56 down to 20 studs. Some smurfs and pros tend to gravitate towards this thing due to its one-shot headshot potential. You heard me right. This thing can one-shot headshot up to 70 studs, which is pretty decent for a handgun. It's a fire rate cap of 600, which is pretty decent. However, there is one main drawback of the Rex, and that is the pathetic reload time of 4.4 seconds, which is longer than that of the BFG-50. If you're planning to use this thing as your primary, you always go for the head and hide whenever you're reloading. The Rex has a walk speed of 15 studs per second. If you have a slow melee with a weapon like the longsword, then pulling the Rex is your best bet if you have it equipped. Muzzle velocity is somewhat important on this gun since you're mainly going to be aiming for the head. It has a muzzle velocity of 1500 studs per second, which isn't bad for a handgun. Really, there isn't much to talk about this thing other than the fact that it could 2-shot kill at the body and recoil is not that good when you spam. Verdict: consider it. If you're going to be going for headshots, then this revolver works very early on. However, once you rank up, there are better options out there like the Deagle L5 and other revolvers. But if you feel like using something else other than your average handgun, it's better to use something else like the Red Hawk 44 or the Mateva 6. The AN-94 was a potential replacement for the AK-74, an AK that uses 545 by 39. The AN stands for Avtomatnikonova, named after its designer, Gennady Nikova. The AN-94 also uses 545, just like the AK-12. In-game, it is special and unique in its own way. For starters, its default fire option is burst. It also doesn't have a semi-automatic feature that most assault rifles have. The burst is also unique as well. It has 2-shot burst that fires so fast that it places both shots at virtually the same place before the recoil kicks in. With the automatic feature, it has the 2 bursts before going for its automatic rate of fire. The AN-94 has a base damage of 32 down to 24, so for the most part, you're going to get 4-shot kills up to 120 studs. The automatic rate of fire is 600 rounds per minute. While it is slow, it makes it very controllable. If you put this thing in automatic, it almost acts like a laser. I personally like it that way. If you actually get out of your way to change fire modes, the AN-94 is perfect for almost every situation, long and close range. Reload is, once again, average. Its tactical reload is 2.5 seconds, while the empty reload is 3.2 seconds. 14 studs per second is its walk speed, so you'll be as fast as almost everyone else with a gun. Overall, the AN-94 is a solid weapon. Remember how I said it's best used as a pseudo DMR? I take that back. Put it in any situation and it'll work. Verdict? Use it. This gun will fit in almost any situation. Sure, there are guns that could do one thing better than it, but this thing has a perfect balance between a ranged and a CQC weapon, making it viable anywhere, given that you have the right attachments. However, the only reason why you wouldn't use this is because you need a gun for a very specific situation. The AN-94 doesn't have the true capabilities of a sniper rifle and other assault rifles, but it still does well anywhere. The SKS is my favorite DMR in the game. In real life, the SKS, which stands for Samozarjadny Karabin Systemy Simonova, or Self-Loading Carbine of the Simonov System. This was first introduced in 1945. Keep in mind, this isn't the SVT-40. That thing uses 7.62x54R and was used during World War II, albeit rarer than most Nagants and the PPSH. The SKS uses 7.62x39, which is basically the same round as the AK-47. The SKS came first though. The production of the 47 started in 1949. Shocking, right? Anyhow, the SKS is unlocked in rank 13. By now, you should have it, unless you just started a Smurf account, haven't touched the game after playing a bit, or are generally new. The SKS has a max base damage of 40 and a minimum of 32. It has a headshot multiplier of 1.5 and a torso multiplier of 1.2. For the most part, you'll consistently hit 3-shot kills from close to mid-range if you aim for the torso. Walk speed is an average 14 studs per second. Other than that, you will only take 2 to 3 shots if you hit the head. This isn't exactly what you want from a DMR, right? Well, it has these somewhat lackluster damages for a reason. Its rate of fire. It is the second fastest firing DMR, having 433 rounds per minute. The fastest firing DMR is the SA-50 SPR, semi-automatic FAL, which fires at 500 rounds per minute. Back to the SKS. The arm sights for the SKS are actually very clean. Compared to other DMRs, the SKS is the cleanest in my opinion. Anything in that circle is considered dead to me. Alright, I forgot. The SKS is an AR, so I have to mention the fact that it only has 20 rounds, but it could fit an extra round in the chamber. The SKS, however, does have a bit of a drawback. Its reload is more than average. It has a tactical reload of 2.8 seconds and an empty reload of 3.7 seconds. Look on the bright side, at least its reload isn't as bad as the BFG 50. The muzzle velocity of this thing is 2,800 studs per second, which is alright for a DMR. The SKS is a versatile DMR. Similar to the MK11 and the SA58 SPR, it has its uses during close to mid ranges, unlike the MSG90 and the SCAR SSR. Combine that with its decent rate of fire, and basically you almost have a semi-automatic AK-47. The only difference is that you have a lot less rounds to work with and a bit less damage than the AK itself. Verdict? I definitely would use it. The shots to kill is mainly consistent since it does have the 1.2 torso multiplier. As long as your target is in that ring of the iron sights, your target is bound to be dead in no time. Even though the reload is slow, you can simply adapt to it and find a different playstyle. You don't have to be aggressive all the time. And that concludes part 1 of my project. I know I've kept you all in the dark for a while, but I feel like this time is worth this project. Next week I will release part 2 of my project. Like if you find this useful and subscribe for more Fanny Forces content.